Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Random Chapstick is Candy Cane. This is TCTN, the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy, just enjoying your channel, enjoying what you do on your channel, and enjoying the channels that you watch. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community. Ooh, it's messy. I took the stopper out way too soon. Not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to fall into believing you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or even a certain technique, but do your makeup, whatever brand it is, whatever technique it is, to get your makeup on the way you want it to look. And so if somebody wants to say your makeup will never be elevated if you don't do what they say, how they say do it, and with what they say do it with, then they can call me what they want. And I'll say me, not you. And not that anyone calls me a troll. And when they do, it's because I call myself a troll, and it's partly in fun, because even though all of my makeup looks are not bomb, some of them are busted, call me a troll, I call myself a troll. But the bottom line is loving yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. You know, love yourself. Self-acceptance, self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them when you want to, if you want to, but not feeling like you have to be socially acceptable or to be put together. Really just love yourself. And if you're thinking, well, this isn't perfect, that isn't perfect, listen, the way my troll mind thinks, our imperfections, our quote unquote imperfections, are what makes us perfect. It's what makes us unique. It's what gives us character. I would rather have, you know, freckles and, you know, redness around my nose and under eye discoloration, because it sets me apart from somebody else. And so try to think of it that way. If there's things about your skin or how you look that you don't really like or that you want to be different, accept it as a part of who you are. And if you want to cover it up, cover it up. But at the end of the day, when you wash all that off, like, you're still you. And that's the you that I want you to love, regardless of whatever's going on. I am at the tail end of a cold, so excuse me if I keep clearing my throat today for the first time. We are going to use Mothership #1, Subliminal. I'm curious as to what I can do with it, because I don't prefer me in all cool tone looks, but what attracted me to it or had me start thinking a little different about it was not only this really bold blue, hopefully it shows up that bold, but also it has extreme black in it, which the first 3 Motherships do, and also if I can smoke this out. And so for these 2 looks, I'm going to do one on each eye. I think I'm going to do top row and then bottom row, just to see what the shades look like on their own, and then my other looks will be me layering and just playing around doing different things to see how much I can do with this palette, and also experimenting with them over a base. And so this is Skin Show Nude, this is Depth, Ultimate Taupe, Pale Gold 002, VR Violet, Extreme Black, Lilac Dusk, Substance, Blitz Blue, and Astral White. And so I will just call out the shades as I am putting them on. I do have brushes laid out. So we're first going to take dry brush, and I do have sponge tips here. This is VR Violet, this shade here, and I'm curious if it will show up, and it does with a dry brush. For me, the tacky primer, for me, the Fenty primer, excuse me, is a tacky primer, and so I'm not concerned with laying the astral shades directly on top of it. And I want to say from Tentalia.com, I think it was for the first few motherships, because she has a list, you know, how to tell which mothership is for you. And so she broke down, you know, what the palettes are, what they look like, swatches, what they would pair well with. And if I'm remembering correctly, the celestial shades in the first few motherships are different than the celestial shades in, excuse me, we're going into this shade down here, which is Astral White. We're different than the shades in the subsequent motherships. And so I haven't tested them, so I don't know. And so, but these do seem to be smooth and not chunky monkeys like some of her other motherships that came along. This is interesting because It looks almost like the same shade. What? And this brush is dry also. Look at this, y'all. This shade here is on this eye. This shade right here is this one. I don't think I realized it was a duochrome, because even looking at it, this white right here, it doesn't seem to change, even looking at it in the mirror, because sometimes you can see the shifts, like this looks purple here and it looks orange here, but this here is looking the same as here, but it's blue and it's looking almost the same. Wow. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's definitely interesting. It is a little more turquoise based, but looking at them side by side, and this is not a chunky monkey either, which is nice. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I don't like dupes and palettes. We're going to take Pale Gold 002, this shade. So this is going to be the top row eye, and this is the clean brush. And we're just going to, oh, this one is not showing up. This one is just blending into my skin tone. It's just giving me some shine. All right, well, I'm not sure what to do about this right here. So this should have been on the inside. Because this is just some shine. But you know what, we're just going to end up layering. And the next two shades are mattes, and then we have that light shade, which would probably be for brow bone or inner corner. But we don't really need an inner corner because we have that celestial shade there. We're just bringing this up higher. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go back to the first brush, and we're going to take more of VR Violet, and we're just going to try to sweep that over, see if we can layer some of that. Yes, I'm thinking this second shade, Pale Gold 002, would be more suitable as a topper. I am glad that this shade here, VR Violet, is layering over it, so it is giving it some color. That was interesting. And so I will be experimenting with some of these shades over black base, or even over some of the matte shadows in this palette as a base. I like that better, and it does kind of just now look like just that shade. Wow, that was interesting. So we're going to put that down, and we're going to take a clean one and go into this blue right here, which is Blitz Blue, and that's going to be interesting. Actually, yeah, let's just do it. That's going to be interesting next to that first shade. That is vibrant. And most of what I've heard about this palette was the blue. I do not buy palettes just for one particular color, and especially expensive palettes. If you're talking about e.l.f. bite-size palette, yeah, go for it. It's what, $6, $3 or something like that. But full price, $120 something for Mothership, I would not buy it just for that one shade. Excuse me. And for me, it is important to like the entire palette. And I do know some people who will just purchase a palette knowing that they're not going to get use out of all of it, but because there's enough shades in it that they are drawn to, they're okay with buying that palette. And so if that's you, go for it. But I still wouldn't say just not for one shade, because even if the formula is like none other, you can still get that color somewhere else for cheaper than this entire palette. And even on sale, I purchased this for $76 and some change. That's still a lot if I were to just say, oh, I bought it just because of the blue. No, we don't do that here. Well, we do not do that here. We're going to go back with the first brush, Astral White, which is blue, and we're just going to pull that over just a little bit to try to get a blend, because there needs to be some blending. So here's my first question. Do you sometimes just purchase a palette just for a particular shade? And I've heard people say, you know, people don't buy Pat McGrath for the mattes. I love her mattes. And I wouldn't purchase a 10-pan palette only because of 4 celestial shades. Because again, we don't do that here. It is important for me to like the entire palette and to get use out of the entire palette. Otherwise, why did I buy the entire palette? But that's just how my brain works, and I think that looks really good. Yes, so far, I'm working it. going back with the brush that had the blue on it, but not adding any more color. I'm just going to just kind of feather. I know that sentence came out funny. Just to try to get some of a blend without adding more shade, because this is tacky up here where the Fenty primer has dried down. And even before it dries down, it's tacky anyway for me. And my skin is not oily or dry, it's just regular. And so it may not be tacky for you, but it is tacky for me. And so we're going to leave that there. This freckle right here is throwing me off because it's looking like it's shadow right there, and it's really not. So we're going to go into Top Row Ultimate Taupe, this shade here, and it does look deeper. This is what I see in person, and when I held it this way, I know it looked a little bit lighter. And what are we going to do with that? We're going to actually take this and put this as our transition shade. So that's just going to go right here. And we're going to put a deeper shade there. That did not, you know what, that's okay, because this is kind of my skin tone too. There's a place for these types of looks. Like, it looks like you cannot mess up with this top row. We're going to put that brush down, and we're going to go into depth, this shade here, and that's going to go on our outer corner. And for some reason I'm thinking I need to use a different brush, but we're not. We're just going to tap this right here. I should have used that angle brush. I didn't tap off this time to make sure I got down into that outer corner, and we're going to feather it over, and hopefully the shade depth will give me some depth. And we're going to just feather it outward just a little bit, and we're going to go back in and we're going to put some up here in our transition area on this side. You might know what I'm gonna say. I like the look, it's just not my preference. Still surprised at how both of these shades almost look the same, especially because one says astral white and one is violet, and for them to both look almost the same was surprising. I am thankful for this shade here, which is depth. So you see how you can just use the top row and do a look. Easy peasy. And I'm gonna just take a little bit more, sorry for smacking, and just bring that over because I want my transition to just have a little more depth. And that's going to be it for this look, except for lower lash line. And I do have NYX eyeliners out for that. So I'm just going to do some more buffing out over here. So yeah, that is that one, except for excuse me, Skin Show Nude, this shade here. We're going to do brow bone highlight, which I normally don't do because I don't always. This seems to be a drier formula, or maybe it's the brush, I don't know, because at first it didn't seem like it picked up, and I'm tapping it in and it didn't seem like it wanted to pick up at first. And so that's all we're going to do there. We may come back and put in a corner, I'm not sure yet. Oh, my face looks like it is glowing. The brush for depth, we're just going to go in small circular motions just to tone down that brow bone highlight shade. Now we're going to move over to the other eye. Excuse me. This is a lilac shade, Lilac Dusk. And so we're going to take this one first for outer corner, and then we're going to put Substance. And I would do opposite. That would be an easy look. These three shades right here, and also these three shades right here. That would be like super, super easy. So we're going to take Lilac Dusk. Do I want this for outer corner, or you know what? We're going to put this in transition, which may or may not be a mistake because it's a lilac color and we're putting it over a blue, but it looks like it's blending out. So we're going to do small circular motions on top of the blue and bring that over here. I think I'm liking this, like how this is blending out the blue. And usually I don't use a shade to blend out another shade, but sometimes, you know, you got to do it. I like that. I I actually really like that. How many times do I say that when I'm using pat shadows? Like, I really, really, really like that. Like, it caught me off guard because I did not think. I'm speechless. I didn't think I was gonna like how that looked. And I actually do. Oh my. Like, okay. So now we're going to go into Substance, this shade here, and we're going to tap that on our outer corner. Okay, maybe I need a denser brush. Substance, let me try an hourglass brush. You know what? No. We're going to take this brush because it's smaller and it's dense. And we're going to go into Substance. And it is a metallic, and so maybe that's why too, but I'm thinking it can be a little darker than this. Because this is a fluffy brush. This is what I wanted. Okay. Okay. And we're going to... Why does that look like a brownish? It looks like... Does that look like a brownish gray to you? Or like a taupey brown? Or am I seeing things? I like it though. This palette is surprising me so much so that I'm sitting here like, why was I so hesitant to even get it? Because this is a mostly cool tone palette. But even looking at this look, even though it is cool tone, I do actually like this look, and depth did give it some depth. And even how this is looking kind of coppery here, I actually really like this look, and I would have never gotten this palette if it wasn't 40% off, unless I saw it at TJ Maxx, because some people said they have seen Pat McGrath at TJ Maxx. My TJ Maxx looks worse than Goodwill. Y'all, listen, I'm going back with the brush that had the blue on it. What is it? Blitz Blue. And we're just going to just lay some more right here, just to have some more blue on the lid, on the outer part of the lid. This deepened up nice, and so for that you just need a dense brush versus a fluffy brush. What the hell? Oh my gosh. I'm going to take that blending brush we used again for, what did we use? That had a lilac dusk on it, and we're just going to just buff over. I do recall a few people saying, even though this is a cool tone palette, it leans neutral, and maybe that's why I'm digging it, because I don't like all cool tone looks, but cool leaning neutral shadows. I am friggin' digging it. We have one more shade, which is Extreme Black, and so what we're going to do with that, excuse me, we're going to use Extreme Black on our upper lash line. Wait a minute, I'm missing something. Oh, that's the last one. Yeah, Extreme Black. We're going to use that, yeah, on both of our upper lash lines. I was going to use the Fenty Fly Liner, the black one, and that shade is called 'Cause I'm Black. But this will do. So I'm going to put the Fenty liner away. Listen, y'all, we just used this entire palette. Granted, is one look on each eye, but you see how you can use the top row, this look, and then use Extreme Black as a liner. Use the bottom row and do this look, and still use Extreme Black as a liner. And so I'm hoping this is inspirational for you if you have this palette and you're not sure what to do with it, or if you're used to just doing transition shade, crease shade, and putting a shimmer on the lid. Like, you can put, 2 or 3 different shimmers on the lids. And actually, all of these, the only matte on the bottom row is this one. These are all shimmers. And these 2 on the top row are shimmers. And so you see how you can even layer, like what I did over here for that side. And so I hope this is helpful to you. just to give you some ideas of something different to do if you normally just do transition, crease, and a shimmer on the lid. And so that's why I do these videos. Number one, to try and do something different with Pat McGrath than we normally see. Well, than what I normally see. And also because my aesthetic is, you know, on the darker, smokier side. I wanted to see, like, what can I do? I did not mean to take that out that far. Like, what can I do with her palette to where I will really enjoy having it and using it and not regretting buying it? That came out way too far. So let me bring the other side out, even though it doesn't matter because these are two completely different eye looks. What is that noise? You probably didn't hear it. It sounded like a whistle. Do I have... Yeah, I do have some fallout. But you know what? Because my highlighter is so sparkly, I think it's just kind of blending in a little bit. And none of these shades are chunky monkeys. And so that, of course, I am digging because y'all know I don't like the chunky monkeys. We're going to take a gray. This actually says, yeah, gray. I thought it was going to say smoke gray for some reason. Now we're going to put that under this lower lash line because this is our grayish lighter eye look over here. And yeah, so we're just going to put that there. Do I have something for... Yeah, I do have something else for... Excuse me. Interrums. And we're going to take a deep blue and we're going to put this under this lower lash line. You know what's interesting though is if you do a two-tone look, like if you did this and went out, what's always interesting for me, because sometimes I do two-tone looks and go out. What's always interesting is people will compare. And I know we do it in videos too, because some of you will say, oh, I like the blue eye better. Some people say, I like the lighter eye better. It's like that in person, in public too. People say, your eyeshadow is pretty, but I really like the blue one because it makes sure your eyes pop. Or they'll say, I like both your eye looks, but I really like the lighter one because that makes your eyes pop. Like, it's just interesting hearing what people say. And this one is deep purple. We're going to put this on our waterline under both eyes. And when I do two-tone looks, it is just to show you what you can do with the palette. It's not necessarily for you to compare which one you like more, but I do think that's just in our nature to just pick one. You know, to be like, oh, they're both nice, but... And that is totally fine. Because usually the darker eye or the smoky eye is the one I like best too, or the one that's most, excuse me, unique to what I've normally done is usually the one I like the most too. And so it is interesting to hear. So this brush, did I use this for anything? I don't know. But we're going to just blend this out because I don't think I'm going to put any shadow under here. It feels really good doing makeup today. Today is January 12th. I caught a cold on January 1st. And this is my first time doing a full face of makeup. The base face was to get ready with me because I knew I wanted to play with this palette and I had the energy to do so. And I said, you know what? I just realized these are two different liner colors under here and I'm using the same brush. Where was I in my sentence? So I had the energy to do so, to do, you know, a face. And so I said, well, if I'm going to do an eye look, just do a base face too. I am really digging both of these looks, y'all. Excuse me. We're going to do mascara, the Sky Barnes Pumped Up Mascara, top and bottom lashes. If you have this palette, let me know what you think of it. I am really liking both of these looks. And first impressions, though, I am really liking this palette. And also, I think I really like this palette because there's no chunky monkeys in it. And so I don't need to be like overly concerned with, you know, getting fallout or needing to use a sponge tip applicator to get the colors to show up. Because even with a dry brush, you saw that the celestial shades in here did show up. If all of them are celestial shades, I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking out of the 4 that usually are celestial shades, I'm thinking only the 2 on the end and this Mothership are supposed to be celestial shades. It may be because they're both kind of dual chromey. I don't know, so don't quote me on anything I'm saying. Where does this go? Oh, I put my other eyeliners where the lip liners were by mistake. So that is the look with both of these rows. We used the whole palette. I'm going to do a lip. I do have a lip out. It's going to be black. It's going to be funky. I don't know if it's going to go with either eye, but I've been wanting to try it. And since we're here and we're doing things, we're going to try it. So we're going to take Caviar. This is matte retro liquid lip color. This is that, and from the CCO, if you saw my Black Friday haul collab that I did with Lynette, I have purchased this MAC lipstick, and the formula is Frost, and the shade is On and On, and I specifically purchased this to go over Black Lippy. Look at that. Let me wipe that off my hand because I will forget and be like, why do I have marks on my pants or whatever I happen to touch? So this is dry. Oh, I'm excited for this. Cute. I'm gonna finish this off camera. That does not go with that, but from the swatch, actually I wiped it off, so I'm gonna show you one here. This is what it looks like, but over the black, it just like gives it like a slight green shimmer. This is a bomb ass lip. But it is surprising that this over black gives you that. I am loving it. I am loving it. I am loving it. I am digging this look. Excuse me. And I am just so glad that I am feeling well enough to do face paint again, because I know I did quite a few videos with no face paint, and I thank you for enduring those. And again, just loving the skin you're in and knowing it's okay to do a video with no face paint on if you don't have the energy to, or if you just don't want to. But again, I am hella excited for this palette because I was really like, what am I going to do with this that I'm going to like? And I like both of these looks. So here's this one, and this is this side. I like them both equally. This would not be my everyday thing, but this would be. So if you have this palette, top row, everything over here. Bottom row, everything over here. Easy peasy. And so if you have this palette and you've only used, 2 or 3 shades, just experiment and play around. And let me know if you do have this, if you do think that you will try to do these looks or recreate these 2 looks using the top row and the bottom row. And so the next looks we do, which I don't know when, because now I know I can get smoke out of here. I am just hella excited because this is a cool tone palette and it does lean a little neutral, but I was just like, But am I glad I have it? Yes, especially on sale. Hell yeah. So this look today is another one, and I am excited for it. I do have my lids primed already. I have my base face done. Why does it feel like there's something in this eye? Okay. We're using again Mothership #1 Subliminal, and we're going to do some layering because I want to see how the shades are going to come out. I really like the other looks I did, particularly the darker one, but even the other one that was a more ethereal look, I did still like that too. Would not be my everyday, but I was just really excited that the first 2 looks I did with this palette, #1, were easy to do, and they both look really nice, and it really is something in this eye. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to use as I use it. We're going to take Extreme Black, and we're going to put this on both lids. Oh, man. And this is powdery, and I didn't notice that the other day, and maybe because I used a brush that was not as dense as this one. But I'm going to actually edit this out because, as I said, this is going on both lids, and we are going to take it, I'm just tapping into the excess. We are going to take it up here into the transition area. So once I have both of these done, both of these eyes done, and we will come back. We're taking just the tip of the brush and just starting our blend in this area right here. This is where we are at. Oh my gosh. And now we're going to take Ultimate Taupe, this shade here. Why am I just so awkward? This shade right here. And we're going to use that as our transition shade for both eyes. And then we'll see what we're going to do after that. I do have a plan in my mind. I want to see how this looks first. And this is my skin tone, which I think is making it a good blend out shade. Yeah, because you can see the difference between here and over here. All right, this is working. I'm gonna come back after I put this on my other transition area. We're going in small circular motions just to further the blend, and we're going to come out here just a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing on this eye. And yes, it does still feel like there's something in this eye. I probably need to just pause and get close up in the mirror and take a good look. But this is what we have. And this could be your look. Just do like a black liner underneath, put on a black lip, and you are good to go if you want that like deep, dark look. Or do like an ombre red and black lip. There you go. We're going to take a clean one and we're going to go into depth this shade here. And we're also going to put that in our transition area. We're going to just put that maybe just over here. So we're not going to take it all the way in like we did that, like we did the first shade, excuse me, for whatever that was. I thought I was going, oh, I like that. I like how that's looking, because you can see the difference between this shade and that one, even though Ultimate Taupe was more my skin tone. But I'm liking the slight gradient in color that these two are giving me in this area, blending out extreme black. I am excited about this palette because I really was not sure about it. And for me to do the first two looks and really like those, I was just like, whoa. And now this one also is easier because there's no chunky monkeys in it. And so that excites me too. But this, yeah. And I'm smoking out my liner a little bit, or my shadow, trying to get into that habit because I do like that look instead of always just being so rounded. I am digging this. I honestly want to leave this like this because this is a vibe. This is a look all by itself, but we're going to keep going. So what we're going to take now, I wanted to do two different looks, one on each eye. But now I'm like, I'm loving it so much, I don't want to mess it up. But I want to see how these shades look layered. And so we're going to take this shade here. This one here, this is Pale Gold 002. We're going to try it first with a dry brush. It does pick up really well. And we're going to put this all over the lid. And I remember saying this was more of a topper. This is pretty. Can you see that? Y'all love my zoom feature? Zzz. Here we are. This is pretty. Wow. I didn't tap off this time, and I'm going to sweep. Wow. Do y'all see this? So it's still dark and smoky, but you got that little bit of shine going on. You know what? I am digging this palette. That is pretty. We're going to take a clean one, and I really want to, maybe I'll just do it on my hand, these two, because these two on my inner lid look the same. And so I'm curious of what these two will look like over a base, but we're not going to do that this time. And yeah, I think I might just do that on the back of my hand. We're going to take this one here. I want to do this one, but this will keep it smoky, which I'm liking, but even this is smoky, even though we put the gold on top. So we're going to take this shade here, which is Lilac Dusk, and we're just going to top it. And going to see what that does. I'm going to sweep, because these are not chunky monkeys, And because they do just, they're more of a satin, I guess, I am able just to sweep it over. Oh, that is pretty too. I am not even tapping off. I will say the look I did the other day, that blue, Blitz Blue, it did crease. And I did hear from other people way more skilled than I am at makeup say that this blue does crease, and it really did. It wasn't horrible, but it did crease. And I'm saying not horrible because you can't see in my crease area unless I raise my brows and look down. And so for me, even if something creases, it's not the end of the world. This is pretty. It's still smoky. It's still dark. This would be an easy two-tone eyeshadow look to wear out somewhere. And I don't think anybody, they might be like, is that different? Is it the same? I'm excited. All right, so we're going to take a gray NYX retractable eyeliner and put that on our lower lash line. And I should just put a powder under here. Seems like I'm going back to what I used to do, which is putting gel liner underneath and then a shadow on top, or just putting on a gel liner and then just blending it out, which works as well. So then it's not a harsh line. And so that's what I think I'm going to do. And before we do that though, we're going to take deep purple. Is this deep purple? Yes. And this is going to go on our inner rim, our waterline, this pink line right here. And that we're going to do this on both sides. I don't know why I don't do my upper rims anymore, because I used to always do lower and upper rims. And maybe because you can't really tell if the upper rims are done or not. I don't know. But somewhere along the line years ago, I stopped doing that. We are going to take a smudger brush. I am not a fan of pulling eyes, but because it's wrinkles and stuff under here, if I just do this, it'll just move my skin. And so I do pull my eye very gently and then smudge out that liner. And so you can see a little bit of a difference between this and this, not much of a difference. And sometimes I don't even smudge it out because sometimes it really doesn't make a difference. And I think it depends on how far down I blend it. But yeah, so that is that. I am digging both of these looks. Oh my gosh. I really was not sure about this palette, and now I'm just like, why was I so... Because it's cool tone, that's why. Max Paint Pot. What is that? This is Black Mirror. This is starting to feel dry. We're going to use this on both of our upper lash lines, and I don't even know if it'll make a difference because the lids are so dark. But we're going to put that there. You'd be surprised, or maybe not, of the subtle difference that things make even when we don't think they do. And so even with this, like I am seeing that purple from the topper shade, well, the shade we use as a topper, but I am seeing this black line from the liner. But from a distance, you can't tell, and nobody really outside of your circle, because we're still in a pandemic, should be in your face, and it's cold and flu season too. So nobody really should be that close to you to see if you have liner on anyway. But I am just excited, and I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you being here. I'm excited too that I am feeling a lot better. My voice is still a little heavy. For me, a common cold always starts and ends with my throat and with my voice going in and out. It's more in than out now, and I think because I don't talk a lot. Maybe. I'm not a phone person. Like, I'll text and email all day long, but phone talking, I'm just like, nah, dog. So we're going to take the Scott Barnes mascara and Pumped Up on top and bottom lashes. And sometimes when I do a dark look like this, I don't do liner or mascara because are you going to see it? Is it going to make a difference? But it is something about just doing it to complete a look that just feels good. And it's kind of like, for me right now, and I feel like if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it, even though sometimes I get so excited about a look that I completely forget to do liner at mascara until like after the fact. And I'm like, I'm not going to turn back on the recorder to just do mascara and liner. And so there are times I do just forget. And even if I have stuff sitting out, sometimes I still forget. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird. But then I'm weird. So, par for the course. We're going to do a lip. I'm smiling because I know I want to do a black lip. But I also, what if we did a black lip and put this gold on top? But I do have gold glosses, so I don't necessarily need to use a shadow. But then I have these other lippies that I need to use too. And so what do? I have this from Lethal Cosmetics. Is this going to go? Let's just do it. Just do it. Because I haven't used it yet and I would like to. This is Rapture. This came in the large mystery bag. If I would have thought about it, I would have used the Pat McGrath mascara. Why does that look like it has lint on it? This is my first time using a Lethal lippy. I'm going to edit the rest of this part out. I'm not sure about the lip. I think it's pretty. You know what? I think it's because I was set on doing a black lip. And so I think that's where my head is at right now. I do think it goes with the look though. And if not, we're going to pretend it does. And y'all know I want to top it with something. But I'm not. I really do want to. But I'm not. You know what? I kind of want to put... Y'all like, girl, just stop. We're going to put this on top of it. Hashtag tea too much. Hashtag troll is trying it. I'm going to take the wand out and I'm going to use a lipstick applicator and scoop out as much as I can. And I haven't used this yet either. That was ridiculous to use a lipstick applicator because then I just stuck it in a tube. And for that, I could have just used the wand and stuck it back in the tube. This is a clean one. A lot of product does not come out of the tube with this. And look at that. You see that space already? This is my first time using it, and it's just, maybe it's how it's settled. I don't know, but it looks like a lot is missing. Actually, if I were to shake this down, it would be down here. So maybe having a wand in it just makes it fill up like that. This really is my first time using this, so it should be full, I think, but yeah, look at this. Like, where's the product? But then I'll put the wand in it and we'll see. Yeah, the wand filled it back up, so that was like there. I don't think this did anything for the lip. I don't think it really changed the color of the lip, of the liquid lipstick. It just gave it some shine. I'm curious to see what this will look like over black. But now that I've used this, I can put that with my stuff that is already used. This is the look. I'm excited for it. I'm loving how this came out as a topper. I'm loving how this came out as a topper because it's still smoky, it's still dark, and it's just like a hint of color. I think that is gorgeous. I think this is gorgeous. And so that'll be it for this video. Let me know if you have Subliminal, what your thoughts are about it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say because I'm just really digging it, like seriously. And I'm surprised that I'm digging it as much as I am. And so that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and you will see me in the next one. And as always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. You'll see me soon.